What's going on, guys? Joel Robinson here, and we are back with part 5 of my 4th of July 2022 firework show preparations. In this video, the main focus is the finale, which includes all of my shell racks. I have to dig them all out of storage, and I'm going to tell you right now, my back is already regretting it. Okay, for my finale, last year I used Quick Match, sent them all up in like a second. This year I want to delay it maybe 5 to 8 seconds. So I was looking through my fuse, got a lot of varieties here. And I'm thinking 4 seconds a foot would probably be good because those racks are 2 feet or less. So in theory, this should make all the shells go up in less than 8 seconds. Oh, you know what we should do? We should take a foot of this outside, or maybe 2 feet outside, and time test it. Let's do that. Pretty darn close to a foot. I'm gonna tape it down so that way when it's lit, it doesn't try to fly away from me. I'm not getting any younger. First thing I'm gonna do is inspect all my racks since I haven't looked at them since last year, make sure everything is tip top. And then I know that there's some of the guns that need to be cleaned out, so I'm gonna do that. Following the channel for a while, you might know this is one of my signature moves. I have these are critical Acclaim shells from World Class. They are comet shells, and I like to throw them in the fronts of my racks, so when the racks start going off, you see these beautiful tails. I only have 10, so I'm going to do 2 of them per position. So we'll just do like... Up next are the Fire Eagle Kiss the Sky shells. I saved 2 of them for a future canister shell comparison video. I have 22 that we're throwing up next. Upside down. Up next are the Tannerite shells. I did do a standalone demo on these. Probably be posted sometime in July. Up next we got Shogun's American Pride, and we have 16 of these as well. Up next is the Ares God of War shells. I asked, I believe in part 3, if anyone knew who made these shells. I didn't see an answer, so if anyone does know, please let me know. Up next we have Real Tree Fireworks Wildcat canisters. Up next, we have Neon Skies from Raccoon. Alrighty, to try to finish these racks off, I'm going to use Nishiki shells. Since they'll be the last ones to go, they'll be long hanging. I have a single Nishiki Bomb from Tako. Then I have Holy Nishiki from Raccoon, and I have some SuperNova Nishiki cans as well. All the racks are full. This 4 second per foot fuse looks really good, so that's what I'm gonna use. So I went and pre-cut all of my fuse. Now I'm just gonna rip off pieces of tape, and then everything is going to be fired from the same direction over here and burn this way. So all of these fuses will point down the chain. So normally give about 2 inches overlap just to make sure that the fuse is making good contact with the shell fuse. So basically my trunk line is passing fire correctly, and make sure they're physically touching here. So you see how the fuses are lined up against each other. If the trunk line was like this, you'd only have a little bit of contact. So by making sure that they are touching, you're just giving extra contact with the trunk line to ensure that the shell fuse actually catches. There are other tips you can do. For example, you can cut the end here to try to expose more of that black powder core. A lot of shells you will see will have like dipped ends that already have like a primer on it, and as long as you have good contact like I'm showing here, I rarely have shells that do not fire. So if people are shooting something and a bunch of shells aren't firing, it's probably just something you're doing in your wiring. The other thing too is if this fuse was facing the wrong direction and it comes up behind it, it's less likely to light at this point because this is where the inner core is exposed, so you want to make sure it's facing the direction the fire is coming from. First rack down is also the smallest shot count rack because this rack, the tubes are touching. I'm going to do one piece right down the middle, and then I'll have 2 pieces of fuse from the shells wrapped together like this. So you see these shells? See that little white tip there? That's that primer I was talking about. Not all of them have it. Actually, what shells are these? I think these are those Ares God of War shells. Alright, let me show you what we're going to do. So we're going to take the 2 trunk line fuses, bring them together like so. I want to make sure that both pieces of fuse are exposed right here. I'll explain why in just a second. And I have my quick match here. Just like we did with the girandolas, kind of get that loose in there so we can get into the middle and not get stuck in the paper. But what I want to do is I want both pieces to be somewhat in there. Because then, worst case scenario, if one row goes, at least something from that position goes. It's kind of where my head's at. And then right here's where I'll light it from. Oh, I put a piece right there. For the time being, we're just going to cover that up until we get on site. And I'll come back and we'll put foil. Like that. And yes, you can leave the foil on the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to secure this all down. Make sure all the exposed fuse is covered so nothing prematurely lights the rack. Well, that's everything we can do to get ready for our 4th of July show. I have an early morning, so I'm going to call it quits right here. I hope everyone has a fun and safe 4th of July, and I'll see you in the next video.